Welcome to Beer Untapped with Perry Miller, the podcast. I'm joined by Seth.
Hey, welcome, guys. Thanks for finding us on the internet.
Now, these shows originally aired on Brookings Radio, but now they're all here for your enjoyment. I hope you like it.
There you go. Sit back, enjoy the show, relax. Let us know if you want to see anything on future shows. As we said, this comes out live in the Brookings area, but enjoy this archive episode.
Beer Untapped with Perry Miller. Welcome to Beer Untapped with Perry Miller. The leaves are falling, the temperature is dropping. The change in seasons often means a change in styles for many craft beer drinkers, including this one. Cool weather beers this week on Beer Untapped. Seth Cook, head brewer and co-owner of Wooden Legs Brewing in Brookings, says autumn is a great time to enjoy a beer.
We had a great summer. We've had a great year, and autumn is always a really cool time to be around Brookings and this area of the country. Cold weathered beers, fall time beers, even on, there's little differentiation, hardly any more of what's a spring beer and a fall beer in terms of when you can get stuff. But there are some styles that are a little bit more traditional to the fall season than some of the others. I'm a big fan of, like the Nut Browns. That's an all-time beer, but that's kind of one of my all-time fall style beers.
It just seems to fit, doesn't it?
It does seem to fit. The beers usually have a tendency to get a little darker, a little maltier, a little heavier, a little sweeter than some of the other, and just like the foods do.
He says the darker, heavier beers seem to go well with the richer foods many people turn to this time of year.
The IPAs are always popular, but IPAs are really bright and floral, and they're good, but when it comes down to sitting down with some of the rich meals like the turkeys and the hams and even the meatloafs and, those big dark beers, darker, at least in complexion, are kind of what I always gravitate towards.
Beers used to be far more seasonal than they are these days, as brewers can pretty much make any beer anytime they want. Still, fall seems to be a popular time for stouts, and some of the best are released this time of year.
Stouts always seem to fit. Everybody blends off a coffee stout. That always seems to be a cool tradition. You'll start seeing some of the German beers too. They'll gain popularity. The Bock beer seems to be popular when it gets really cold. They have Bock Fest over in New Ulm. That's in the dead of the cold months. There's a lot of people that will drink sours year round. That pairs well when you start talking about not just like Thanksgiving style or fall foods, but sours can go with a lot of different things, whether it be salads or desserts or there's a lot of things that you can put a sour next to, and it still works out pretty good.
Rich Droughty, brewer at Bank Brewing in Hendricks, has been enjoying a traditional fall style this year.
Coming into this year, I've never really thought of Oktoberfest beers as much of a thing. I've been so into hoppy beers, and then I usually skip right to stouts. But the Oktoberfest beers and the lagers have been really hitting the spot this time of year.
A new beer from Bank, a Flanders Red Ale. They're aging some of it in barrels for a cool weather winter release.
We took half that batch and we actually put it in those barrels that once held the foreclosure. So it's going to be a barrel-aged sour beer, barrel-aged red sour, and then we actually fruited each barrel. So we're going to have 5 different beers off of this one beer. The plain overdraft, which is going to be available in kegs, and then we did a plain barrel of overdraft, and then we did a blackberry, a cherry, and a raspberry. So some barrel-aged sour beers coming out in the next few months.
We'll also tell you about a brand new cool weather beer at Wooden Legs and more when Beer Untapped continues.
Singing bitter lager, cider, ale, stout. Designer drinks I'd rather drink now. You can keep your white wine spritzer, baby sham, that's for your sister. Order that in Lancashire, son, and you're out. Please drink in moderation.
Welcome back to Beer Untapped with Perry Miller as we talk cool weather beers. A new beer to look for at Wooden Legs is the latest in their Pub Keep series, and it comes from head Pub Keep Liz Earle.
She is the one in command when it comes to the nighttime shifts and everything like that. So the beer is fitting. It's called Second in Command.
So Seth had been hounding me for almost a year to figure out what I was brewing. And it kind of jumped around. I really, really, really like dark beer, so I love stouts. And I like Saisons, our farmhouse beer at Wooden Legs, is one of my favorites. So one of the newer styles kind of in the beer world is a black Saison, kind of similar to the same concept as a black IPA. So we just kind of merged some of my favorite flavors and said, let's make a beer.
And we were talking, this is a great beer for cooler weather.
It really is. I didn't plan on making that winter warmer style, but that seems to be what we made.
Also, an event at Wooden Legs will feature a bunch of those cool weather kind of beers as they once again present their High-Octane Halloween on Halloween night.
We offer beers on tap that are a little outside of what you would normally consider the regular strength of the beers that you would find here. And it's fun. We do flights of them. It's just an opportunity for you to try some of the strong ales, some of the things that maybe you wouldn't try on a normal basis, but we're going to put them all together as an opportunity to, just to experiment. The costume contest this year is to dress up like what your mom and dad wanted you to be when you grew up. So come down as an astronaut or a farmer or a president of the United States or whatever you were supposed to be when you grow up.
Finally today, let's stop by Brookings Liquor Store, see what Drew Eklund has new on tap for our growler fills.
From Fargo, it's called Super Green Pale Ale, 22 cents an ounce. Fresh-tasting American pale ale with local hops from around the Fargo area, almost like an IPA. It really does have a good fresh taste to it. And the next one I have is from Bank. It's their Rooster Lager, 14 cents an ounce. It's a full-bodied, hearty lager with a refreshing, smooth finish. The next one I have is my favorite beer that's currently on tap right now. From North Coast, it's their Cherry Berliner Weiss, 22 cents an ounce. This is a sour beer lover's dream. It's so good. There's so much flavor going on here. Imagine the best cherry pie you've ever had and make it a beer, and that's what we have here. It's awesome. The last one I have new on tap from Sierra Nevada. It's Narwhal, 26 cents an ounce. This is a big, boozy, but surprisingly smooth Russian Imperial Stout. Flavors of dark chocolate and coffee. Can't go wrong with that beer.
Packaged beer you should check out includes the amazing Bourbon Barrel Quad from Central Waters. There's a great cool weather beer. And the Three Philosophers Cellared 3-pack from Oma Gang. Also, speaking of cool weather beers, Drew says they're putting together a list for Goose Island's Bourbon County Stout.
We've started a list for Goose Island Bourbon County Stout. So if you're interested in that, call us or stop in and get in on the list. I think it comes out on Black Friday.
That's it for this week's show. Until next time, drink local and drink responsibly. Thank you for listening to this archived edition of Beer Untapped with Perry Miller. Feel free to listen to other episodes, and if there's anything you'd like us to talk about on a future show, please let us know. Thanks again.